Hi boys and girls, in this video we will look at what points are, what lines are, what line segments are, and what rays are. So we're going to start with what a point is, and a point names an exact location in space. It's usually signified by an X or a dot. In this case, we're going to use a dot. So generally speaking, if we see a point in space, like here's my dot right here, that would be what we consider a point. And we usually give it a letter name, like this can be point A, okay? I can make another point and I can call it something else. You can call it whatever, you can label it with whatever letter you want. Point E, it could be point E, whatever point you want to call it, as long as you give it a letter label and it's labeled by a dot. Generally, you see points on things like line segments or rays. They signify that something has an end to it. Points obviously don't go on forever. If we had a line does go on forever, and we're going to cover that in a minute. But a line looks like that. And I say, okay, name any point on the line. You could just draw a dot and label it on the line. So we could say that's point F on that line. Okay, does that make sense? I hope it does. All right, the next type of geometric figure is a line. A line is probably what most of you are familiar with. It's a straight path which extends in opposite directions without an end. So it can go up and down, left and right, but it goes on and on and on forever in both directions. There is no end point. So we can draw a line, and it's also labeled with letters generally. So a line, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a straight line. It is a straight path, but it could be going up and down. It can go at an angle, a slant, go up and down. So it goes on and on for infinity in both directions. So we would label this line AB. So you don't have to put any endpoints on it or anything like that, because that would signify that it's ending, but this would be line AB. You can also draw a line vertically. So it can go up and down. Oops. There we go. And we can label it something else like EF. Generally speaking, a line is labeled in 2 consecutive letters. So AB, EF, XY, GH. As long as the letters are next to each other, generally, that's how they label a line. Lines can be drawn, as I said, horizontally, vertically, on a diagonal. They cannot be squiggly like this. That is not a line. That's a squiggle. A line has to go in a straight path in opposite directions, okay? So yes, it can be 2 different straight paths, but not a squiggle. All right, the next geometric figure we have is a line segment. Now this is similar to a line, but it has endpoints, and so it's just a part of a line. So I will draw a line, and then we will mark a line segment. So here is my line. Cut off the page there, sorry. There's my line, and I want to make the segment AB. So on this line, I want the segment just to be highlighted from here to here. Just that part of the line is AB, and we call that a segment. So if I were to redraw just AB right here, just this part, it would just be the 2 endpoints. Those are our stopping points. AB. Okay. A line segment does not go on for in infinity in both directions. It is just a part of a line. It cannot go on in opposite directions forever. The last type of geometric figure that we have is a ray. Now, a ray is part of what we call an angle. So before we get into angles, we have to learn about what a ray is. A ray is it's like a half line segment because it has one endpoint where it doesn't go on forever. See, here's my one endpoint. And then it goes on forever in the other direction. So 2 rays together make an angle, but we're not going to make an angle just yet. But when we make a ray, we have an endpoint. Oops, that's a big endpoint. And then we can make it go in any direction. So this could be ray GH if we wanted it to be. A ray could go in the other direction. It can go this way. It can go vertical. It can go at a diagonal like that. But it has to have one endpoint and go on forever in one other direction. When we have 2 rays, we call that an angle, and they share a common endpoint, and we'll get to angles in the next part of this lesson, but an angle it's 2 rays that have one endpoint like this down here. This is what we call an angle. But we're not worried about angles yet, but they will come with rays. So these are all rays right here. So in the activities that you're going to be doing, you will be identifying points, lines, line segments, and rays. So please come back to this video. Please look at the definition pictures that I'm going to post in the assignment tab. But please, please, please pay attention to what you're doing before you submit your assignments, okay? If you need any help, let us know.